And in a series of videos, I'm going to walk you from the downloading of the pattern all the way up to the finished product. In the description below, you will find some useful information and some links to tutorials. This is a pretty detailed sew along video, but it's not a tutorial, so I'm not showing detailed steps. There are many well-made and well-lit tutorials out there. At this point, we have the bottom of the top with the unfinished V in the back, and we have finished the cups. All right, we're on step number 6, which is to put together the top because we've assembled the bottom side and we've assembled the cup. Now we got to put these two together. At this stage, I strongly recommend you attach the two together with a 2 cm seam allowance with a base stitch. Do a fitting, and if it's too long, you do have the option of pulling it up, increasing the seam allowance under the cups. Once you're happy with the fit, and before we finish that seam, we want to cut and finish that V in the back. Here's how to make things perfectly centered. Fold in half. Actually, I'm going to go wrong side out, just cause I might have to mark. So yeah, I'm going to take the backs here, line up my loops, the seams of the bra, have this stick out. And it's like this. And you can pin this for good measure so it doesn't shift. All right. So here you have to design your V. Make it deep enough, so it will depend on your fitting. So in my case, I was able to put it over my head a little easier, but still I can, it was barely sufficient. So this is as low as my V goes. It's about 3/4 of an inch. So I do want to go deeper. So that you need to determine like how deep you go here. And then I think the challenging part will come to where it matches. If you look at the picture, they have it matches. So the V begins where this ends. It goes into the V. So that needs to match. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave 1 centimeter. I'm going to go off of that edge by 1 centimeter and then make a satisfying curve deeper to where I have it. And do another fitting. Make sure I can pull this over my head pretty easily. So this is fudging. So don't cut too deep when you first do it, and then go deeper until it works nicely. So I'm going to apply my bias tape. I'll have to watch another tutorial because 1, I forgot, and 2, I'm doing something a little different from what the tutorial I had before was doing. So here a trick. I'm going to remove some base stitching. I'm going to separate here so that I can get to the full shape of my of that V in the back. I finished the back and it's beautiful. I really like using the same, like making my own bias tape with the fabric. I don't know what took me so long to make bias tape. I don't even have a special tool. I just used my ironing board. It's not that bad. But in watching a tutorial on how to make bias tape, I learned something. The bias tape that you buy may or may not be cut on the bias. They're cheating you. The way you know is if you try to stretch the tape. This is a piece of bias tape that the one I had used before, a bit left over, and it doesn't stretch very well. This is the bias tape that I made, and it stretches. Why is that important? Well, it's important because, and this, I'm linking the tutorial I used to apply this bias tape. There's lots of videos on tutorials on applying bias tape, bias binding. But one thing she did not mention in the video, but I knew to do, is when I'm pinning my bias tape, I'm leaving the fabric as is, and the fabric may or may not stretch a lot, depends on the angle. So I'm trying not to stretch the shirt, but when I'm pinning, I am stretching my bias tape. I'm pulling on it a little bit. You don't want to go crazy, but ever so slightly, I pull on it as I'm pinning it. What that does is it makes your neckline, or in this case the V in the back, makes it lay flat. If you don't do that, or if you use the store-bought bias tape that's not elastic at all, it's not cut on the bias, then this can lift a little bit. It's gonna gape and not be very pretty. So it's a detail, but it matters. And then using this method, it was also very easy to get my V to exactly match. So in my case, I know I had said I would leave a little bit of fabric, but in the end, I determined that no, I should really cut it flush with the side, because when you do a bias tape binding, yeah, there's no seam allowance. It's just the edge of the fabric that gets covered. So now I am ready. I'm ready to stitch the cups, the top of the top, to the other part. Right now it's just base stitching, but I'm going to finalize this. I'm going to do a French seam on that. All right, we're on step number 6, which is to put together the top, because we've assembled the bottom side and we've assembled the cup. Now we got to put these two together. So probably I want to turn this inside out. And put this like this. And that's, yeah, they have the color coding on the diagrams. Gray is the wrong side, and the lighter color is the right side. So I have it exactly as they have it. And we want to stitch them together with the 1 centimeter seam allowance. They don't call it, they don't say it's a French seam. They don't call it anything. I'm curious to see if the French have a cute name for French seams. I very much doubt it. It's called a French seam. Putting countries' names randomly in front of things is a very American thing to do. I don't, like, growing up in French, I don't think we do that. Give cute names, but you don't assign random countries to random things. French fries are not from France. German cockroaches are not from Germany. We don't have like those, they're this big, like none of that in Europe. I'm gonna go the width of my presser foot for this first go around. To finish the French seam, what you want to do is to right sides together. So you flip this, so actually flip the whole work. And then put the stuff right sides together. It's a little scary because when you do a French seam, first go around, you got your seam allowance on the wrong side, like it's sticking out right then in the front of your work, and I'm like, oh, not what I want. That's okay, we'll encase that. So you turn this again, this time right sides together. So it's a good idea to press it. So let me press that first and then stitch. All right, here we go again. This time we are right sides together and we're doing a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And the last step, finishing step that they recommend is to take, so this is what's happening under the bust. And this is kind of it's a fresh seam, so it's gonna be comfortable on the skin and it's a nice finishing, but it's also flapping around. And so if you wanted to lay flat, they recommend to hand stitch or top stitch. I am the lazy type and my hand stitching is not very secure. So I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch this in place with the seam allowance secured downward. Next time, we'll put the finishing touches on that pajama top. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.